for probably the last 10 years or so. I have had such an issue between October and April where I just sniff constantly, and it is so irritating to have that happen. And I've tried over all that time Allegra and the different allergy medications and all the other things that I found. And at one point I came across Navage, and I think that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I did contact the company and ask them if they would send me a unit so that I could use it and review it. And I have been using it, you know, off and on as needed over the last several years. So I want to walk you through what it is, how it works, how it helps, and how to actually use it, plus a couple of things that I've discovered over the last several years that will probably come in handy for you. This is the Navage unit, and it is sitting on what's called a caddy, and I do recommend that you get the caddy. Once you are finished using it, it gives you a really handy place to store everything and let it dry out. You can keep the nasal dock back here and the salt pods that you need, and it's more compact than having it sitting all around your kitchen counter or your bathroom counter on a towel or something like that. What we'll need to get started is the Navage unit. You have to have the salt pods with the saline in it, a box of tissues, distilled water. Now this says purified water on it, but underneath it also says a couple of things about what it's been done to the water, and it specifically says for distilled water uses. You never want to use any type of tap water or water that is not purified, because you're going to take it way up into your sinus cavities. And if you use just regular old tap water or drinking water or anything that has not been distilled, you don't want to end up with any type of irritation up there. Then we're also going to need some vinegar and water mixture, which is what I use to clean it with. I do 3 parts water and 1 part distilled white vinegar, and I just put that in the bottle so it's easy to use. Let me get some things lined up here and I'll walk you through a demo. I have heated up 1 cup of water. I like to use a glass measuring cup. You can get a glass measuring cup really cheap in pretty much any store. So I've already filled it and I've heated it for 12 seconds. I have a 1200 watt microwave. Take your very clean finger and dip it in the water and make sure that it's just a little bit above room temperature. If you put totally cold water or room temperature water up in your sinus cavity, it's probably going to be shocking. It's a little bit too cold to do that, so I heat mine up a little bit. And then we're going to take the Navage unit and connect the top, turn it until you hear it click. I'm going to leave this open because that's where the water and the salt pod goes. We'll take the tank and attach it on the bottom right here till you hear it click. Next, I'm going to pour the water in, and I'm going to do that over my sink in case some dribbles. And that goes right in the top. I should have tilted it for you. There you go. So you can see a little bit where the hole is. And I will take a salt pod. The silver part goes down. If you can see, the plastic part is here. And we're going to push it down pretty hard until you hear it click. And make sure it's closed all the way. It will not operate if you don't have a salt pod in there and the latch is closed. Then we're going to need our nasal dock. This is what attaches to the front of the unit. And you're also going to need the nose pillows, and these are the ones that go in your nose. And they attach by just sliding on. And this attaches just by sliding on, and we're going to put that in the front of the unit, right where the hole is. close that up, and that's all there is to it. There's this button on this side. We're gonna press that in, and just about halfway, you're gonna feel a little bit of pressure, not much at all. And once you do, you press it the rest of the way in, and it's gonna run through its cycle. Let me make sure I have some tissues nearby. Now, you probably noticed that I had my mouth open. You do want to keep your mouth open while this is operating, because that way it won't go down your throat. As long as your mouth is open, you're good to go. And the used water goes down in the tank, and you can see some things floating around in there a little bit. But even if you can't, allergens are invisible, and irritants are invisible, and pollution is invisible. So all of that can be coming out too. Once you're done, open this lid. There's a little latch right here. Pull out the used salt pot and just throw that away. Then we're going to twist the top, and we're going to clean this. We're going to twist the bottom and toss this in the sink. I separate the nose pillows and the nasal dock, and I put them down in the tank. This is a little trick that I've learned over the years. Then I take my mixture of 3 parts water and 1 part vinegar, and I pour that in the tank. You don't have to get it all the way full, just enough to be able to slosh it around. You also get these handy dandy little Q-tip type of things. They're permanent. They're foam and plastic, I think. So I use that to move everything around to make sure that it all sits down in there. While I'm doing that, I will also put water right here, and I do this. We have reverse osmosis on our sink, so I'll do just this part with a reverse osmosis for just a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds. And it specifically says rinse here. It says to do it before and after use, but I generally only do it after. And I'm happy with reverse osmosis because that's pretty clean water, and I'm not gonna put this up into my nasal cavity. Then I'll take the Q-tip again while this is soaking, and I clean inside this and inside the hole on the bottom with that Q-tip. These have been sitting while I've been cleaning out, so they're good to go. I'm going to flip the top of this upside down and pour some of this vinegar water into the top, and then just give it a swish or two and dump that out. I'm going to dump these out. They don't need to be rinsed anymore. I just shake them off pretty good. Then I put everything back into the caddy. I don't attach the lid, I just drop it on there, and then I leave that open so it can get air circulation in there to dry off. And that's where it sits. I slide it up in my kitchen cabinet beside the sink. That's all there is to it. If I go through this from beginning to end without stopping to explain everything, it takes me 5 minutes dead on. So that's not a lot of time to invest to be able to breathe better and feel better and not sniff every 5 seconds, which is irritating to me, and I'm sure it's irritating to everybody else who's around too. I'm Karen Thaxton. If you have questions about the Navage nasal cleaner, please leave your comments below. I also have a coupon code that was given to me by Navage, and I'll leave that information for you below in the description as well. I hope you try one out. If you need to know anything that I didn't explain in the video, you can ask me in the comments. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you breathe well.